Although its practice is widely discouraged, many Jedi through the generations have walked the very narrow path between the light side of the Force and the dark side of the Force. These Jedi have seen the dark side, and through practice have found that they are able to tap into and use abilities regular Jedi would question. Examples of this would be Mace Windu, who was able to channel the dark side of the Force through his body without any major effects. He was able to use the darkness without its corruptive abilities taking hold. Or even Luke Skywalker, who allowed his students to use certain abilities unbefitting of the Jedi in the prior ages. Jedi pupils of Luke such as Mara Jade, Kyle Katarn, or even Jaina Solo, who all utilized Force lightning to varying degrees. Not to mention Luke Skywalker himself. This came from Luke's belief that no single ability was inherently bad. Luke believed it just depended on how one utilized it, a theory the likes of Yoda or Obi-Wan Kenobi would disagree with. But what of the Sith? Have there been any examples through Star Wars history that point to the Sith being able to use the light side of the Force, like some Jedi used the darkness? In the ancient days of the Sith Empire, there were a group of Sith Lords who secretly changed their allegiance to the light side of the Force, and chose to follow the ways of peace and love. These few Sith Lords could not, however, reveal themselves to the other Sith of the Order, in fear of death. Amongst themselves, these Sith began referring to themselves as Light Sith, as they followed the teachings of the light side of the Force, but still kept the facade of a Dark Lord. The Sith Emperor, however, upon discovering this secret group, called them false Sith Lords, meaning he believed they were no longer true Lords of the Sith. In response, as feared, the Emperor ordered them all hunted down and killed for their crimes against the Sith Order. The Sith Emperor at this age believed no true Dark Lord of the Sith could ever use the light side of the Force. After this, there were moments when the Sith experienced lapses in judgment and fell towards the light side of the Force, but in all cases, there were no Sith Lords who claimed to follow the light side solely. When a Sith falls closer to the light side of the Force, they are not strengthened, they actually become weaker and their power decreases. If a light is turned on, the darkness begins to fade. A good example of this would be Darth Vader in Return of the Jedi, when the emotion of love weakened Vader and he was ultimately defeated by Luke Skywalker. The light side of the Force has never been beneficial to the Sith, as it counters their darker abilities. Darth Plagueis momentarily thought that he could use the light side of the Force to achieve immortality, but later went back on this idea as he believed it would only weaken or even kill him. While some Jedi appear to be able to use the dark side of the Force without being weakened, it is the opposite for the Sith. If they use the light, their power decreases. Because of this fact, the Sith discovered there was no significant power left in the light, at least not enough to warrant the reduced power they felt in the dark side of the Force. Unlike the likes of the Grey Jedi, the Sith followed purely the dark side of the Force and could achieve no balance. No balance without the loss of power, which is the ultimate goal of the Sith Empire. In a way, the Sith became the dark side, purging all light from their sight. There were Grey Jedi, however, that preached of using both. However, it was difficult, even for them. However, there are examples of some ancient Sith Lords who did pick up on some smaller light side abilities, such as Darth Traya, who learned the methods of Force Heal, an ability an individual is only capable of using if one uses the light side of the Force. It should be noted, however, that although she was still very much a Darksider, Traya had renounced the Sith Order at this point in time. This meant, at the moment she conducted this ability, she no longer considered herself a Sith Lord. Many Sith simply lacked the patience to learn from the light side of the Force, as learning from it took great amounts of time, while on the other hand, the power of the dark side of the Force was immediate. So to answer the question, it is possible for a Sith to use the light side of the Force hypothetically, but it never turns out well for them, as it reduces their ability to tap into and utilize their main source of power, that being the dark side. Unlike the dark side of the Force, the light is also not seductive, and doesn't pull as quickly or as violently as the dark side does, as Yoda described it to be the easy path. But what are your thoughts on this, and why the Sith have such a difficult time of using the light side of the Force? But can you think of any examples where a Sith used a light side ability? If so, I would love to hear about it in the comments down below. But ultimately, why do you believe the Jedi have an easier time tapping into and utilizing the dark side of the Force, but the Sith are seemingly unable to use the light? Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed and want to help the channel out, be sure to hit the like button. If you would like to see more Star Wars explanation videos and stay up to date with all the Star Wars news from The Last Jedi to Star Wars Rebels, hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to turn on notifications to see everything as soon as it comes out and to make sure that you become a living holocron today. If you would like to get in direct contact with me, follow me on Twitter, where we discuss all things Star Wars and debate with one another on the various topics concerning the universe. If you have any video ideas you want to see explored, leave them in the comments below the the video with hashtag suggestion at the end of your comment so I can find it better. If you do end up leaving a suggestion, I really appreciate it and hope to one day make a full video dedicated to your question or suggested topic. Thanks again just for simply watching the video and your continued support on this Star Wars journey. May the Force be with you, and have a great day.